Good morning, how's it going? I'm recording this video in the morning. It's not early morning, just the middle of morning. Today I failed to get up early morning. This is because I just came to slack off something. I mean, last night I went to the bed um, considering and deciding I will get up 6 a.m. or 5:30 a.m. Yeah, and honestly, I got up successfully 6 a.m. On the other hand, yeah, to make it more precisely, I just woke up in at 6 a.m. On the other hand, I couldn't get up from the bed due to my laziness. It was so disappointing for me, and I'm thinking that how to make my desirable habit uh, realized and come true. All right, I will dig deeper in this topic afterward. I'd like to talk about my analysis of English. I I've been saying that my English tend to be really longer recently and repeatedly. I I talk about the reason several times in my channel video. I I got one new idea I'd like to share with you. One of the reason is I just lack the confidence to speak English. If I talk about complicated thing, topic was really complex, then I tend to be eager to convey my opinion and feeling. What happened? I try to talk about the details precisely and deeply. That might be that might make listeners difficult to follow my story. You know, let's consider we are giving the presentation to the people who are not well versed in those topic. If I try to convey a very complicated thing at the beginning, some of them feel difficult. It's difficult to follow that topic. Then I think half of them or some of them giving up the to continue to listen my story. So what matters in that case is that just make a courage to skip something. We don't have to lie about it, but the courage to skip it would be required for us. The simple story and understandable story easily um, give listeners the motivation to follow our story. Then let's get back on track. If I talk about my story more precisely, then my English tend to be longer than necessity. Then it's kinda dilemma I'm trying to make listeners understand positively. On the other hand, the effect work out oppositely. That is really really sad thing. So I think we have to leave it into Q&A session or other chance and just try to talk more simply and smoothly. This is one of the important thing. Avoiding make avoiding listeners from be boring. All right, shifting gear to the next topic. It's about car works. Yeah, yesterday I got up early in the morning and my wife and I were going to a car wash to beat the crowd, and successfully the car wash area weren't packed. It was really happy to hear that. Yeah, it was really happy for us. And after washing my wife's car, I started to wash my car, and I had several items for me to use it up because the its shelf its shelf life was already expired way back. But if I get rid of it directly, I found it wasting. So that's why I've decided to use it up, even though the effect is not so good as I bought it. And then I found that wax was tried out and it didn't spread well. I was struggling to apply that wax onto my body of my car, but I forced myself to use it. What happened? I used the wax much more amount than it should be because it didn't spread well. So I add the in I add the wax and I just try to spread well. The merchandise is super resin polish for auto gleam, one of my favorite item. And yeah, let's get back on track. What happened is when I tried to wipe the body after finishing applying the wax, it was hard for me to wipe out because there is there was a bunch of the wax dirt and wax was stick into the body, so it was my fault because the reason I couldn't wipe it clearly and smoothly was just because I didn't follow the rule, which the amount of the wax I used was way much than way more than it expected to be. So I was reflected on my fault and I just look up how to use super resin polish correctly. And I had the same mistake when I used silk or voodoo light. It is also my one of the favorite item to polish and give my car wax. And at the first time I used silk, I made the same mistake. So recently I'm trying to use it when I just the width, width and apply it. Let me rephrase it. My grammar is not so good, and I I guess it's not understandable. All right. When I use a silk, I use the microfiber towel to apply it. If towel is dry, I tend to struggle to use it because it didn't it doesn't spread well. So that's why I just make it wet and apply it. It help it help silk spread well. So I should have done the same thing for super resin polish, but I it's not the same merchandise. That's why I just avoid to the same thing and I just followed the instruction written at the bottle of the super resin polish. But I should I should have used the same rule when I use the silk. All right, that's it. And let's move on the next topic, which is the topic I talk about at the beginning of this video. It's about habit. Today, I was frustrated. I couldn't get up the time when I hoped due to my laziness. Um, the reason I just wanted to get up early is because I I'm driven by a desire to drive my car early in the morning to beat a crowd. But I got a car accident due to my fault last month. No, the beginning of this month. You remember that? When I drove my Caterham, my baby, and then I just hit the mud section unexpectedly, and my car slid straight into the embankment, and my rear tire wheel got damaged, scratched, and radius arm was bended. I was so shocked, and still I'm feeling I'm disappointed, and I feel a bit scared to drive the toge again, keeping carrying a good speed via the corner. All right, but one of the reason is that is of the accident is my brain was not clear. I mean, it was first time for me to drive it for a couple of months, and that's why I just wanted to make the most of that opportunity to have fun. So even though I felt tired and go to the bed, I force myself to enjoy my tribe. So I think if I have the habit to get up early in the morning, then I can automatically enjoy the driving the Caterham And also, if I had the early bird habit, then it would be wonderful for almost everything I want to do. For example, I'm learning English, then if I get up early in the morning and I could um, finish my daily work, including recording YouTube video and taking the English class on Native Camp and watching anime, every mandatory, let's consider every mandatory already finished in the morning, then that allow me to clear my bandwidth, brain bandwidth. That would be really amazing because I can focus on my individual tasks at the office and I can enjoy my hobby from the bottom of my heart. So yeah, I just want to use habit power. I just want I just want to ask habit to help my willpower. All right, thank you for listening today. After this video, I supposed to have take the English class on Native Camp. All right, thank you.